Hi, welcome back. I'm Katie Kempner, and we're here at Advertising Week Europe. We're doing a bunch of Perspectives Live, and actually this is my last episode of Perspective Live during Advertising Week, and it is extraordinarily apropos that I should be joined by my friend Allison Arden, who's a publisher of Ad Age, because she was also my very first guest ever. Ever. So she is now my first repeat guest. And I should also say in the introduction that she is the author of a very popular book, best-selling in the gift category, The Book of Doing, which we'll have to find out all about. So Allison, thank you for being with me.
My pleasure. Happy to be here.
Thank you, thank you. So just a little bit about what you do in your role as publisher of Ad Age.
Sure. Publisher of Ad Age. Ad Age is an 83-year-old brand, so evolving it for the future, like so many businesses that started as one thing, looking to build it into something that lasts another 83 years. I'm here in London because we've recently acquired Internet Week, and Internet Week happens in London in November, so excited about that as well.
And also you are the author of this terrific book, The Book of Doing.
Thank you.
It's a wonderful book. Can you talk a little bit about it and its success?
Sure. The book came about not because I set out to write a book. It really came out because I was exploring what made me happy, what did I like to do as someone who juggles career and my family life. I was running so fast, I didn't feel like I had much time to enjoy it. So I wanted to figure out how to slow down and how to spend time doing the things that I really did enjoy. And it took me on this long exploration, but ultimately back to my love of arts and crafts that I did as a child. And I realized that even though I couldn't do arts and crafts all the time as a grown-up, because we don't have the time to do that, what arts and crafts taught me was this love of rolling up my sleeves and turning something out of nothing into something spectacular. And this all came about in 2009 when the market was so challenged that kind of perspective and attitude became really helpful for me in terms of how I was thinking about my life and my business, right? Because we all have so many things that we want to do, but oftentimes we hold ourselves back because we're scared or we don't have the time. And it taught me a lot of lessons about having an idea and putting them into action. And it ultimately led to this book that has been now out for about a year. A lot of people have told me it's not a book you buy for yourself. It's a book that you give to other people. Because when you see somebody who's stuck or not so happy and you want to help them, you want to give them something, and this is a book that helps you discover your own happiness. I just saw a guy who told me that he bought it for his sister because she was a major procrastinator and he wanted to help her out of that. So it's been a really wonderful, just a wonderful thing that happened simply because I started exploring.
So that's such an incredible thing. How important, and by the way, I've seen the book everywhere. I saw it on the table at Anthropology.
Yeah,
I think
it's popping up in really wonderful fun places. Yeah, Waterstone's here in London. It's been a lot of fun.
It's pretty neat.
And fully illustrated, so it's not a book that you have to spend a lot of time reading. You just read the first 9 pages and then do the rest of it, which is fun.
But the way you came up with the book, I think, is so interesting. I mean, how important do you think it is when people get to a certain place for them to just take a minute and say, wait a second, is this how it should be working for me?
Well, I think we should always assess, right? We should always be taking a moment. And the most important thing to me is always taking the time to do the things that you love. Because we're all running so fast that we come up with reasons and excuses why whatever that thing is for you, whether it's going for a run in the park, whether it's playing tennis, riding a horse, whatever that thing is that drives you, that gives you energy, it's where you can come to your kind of peaceful place. It's where your mind opens and allows you to be more creative, right? They say when you do the things that you love, it makes you happy. And when you're happy, it makes you more cognitively flexible. And when you're more cognitively flexible, it makes you more creative. So you can apply that creativity that you get from taking that time to do the things you love to anything that you do. And, when you think about your career, you oftentimes get on a career track and don't take the time to stop and say, was this my vision? Was this where I wanted to go? And can I still get to that place, that ultimate vision? Is that still the vision, and can I get there? And oftentimes you'll see if you take a few steps, you can navigate back to whatever your idea was in the first place.
Well, I wanted to ask you, I know a lot of things in the book, or certain things in the book, have to do with things that you do with your children. And
Yeah.
when we first talked, which was a while ago now, almost a year ago, we had spoken a lot about balance and what that means to you with your kids. Your kids are almost a year older, which is a lot,
Yep.
as kids are growing.
My kids are 8 and 11.
What has anything changed?
Uh, Still enjoying them tremendously. I think as they get older, they need more from you in a different way, right? There's more homework, there's more activities there, so it's always important for us to kind of come back together as a family and take the time to go out and do something. It was a freezing day in New York on Sunday, but we went out to the zoo and went to Arthur Avenue, which we had never been to, and that's the Little Italy of the Bronx. But after a day of just being out and being together, it didn't matter that it was cold, but we just had such a good time and explored things that we hadn't seen in a while, which was nice.
Yeah, when you have an amazing family. So I want to ask you one thing that you and I had talked about before, which goes back to your career. You're running a big staff of people, and also your feeling on the big news that came out, or that Yahoo and Marissa Mayer had put out this new rule that says people can't work from home anymore.
Yeah.
And we were talking about it, and your reaction wasn't necessarily what I thought it would be. Can you share a little bit about what it makes you think?
Yeah, and I felt that Marissa was completely within her rights to set that rule forth. She's been put in a position to get Yahoo back on course, and Yahoo is a business that needs to be put on course. So if she wants everybody in the same boat, rowing in the same direction, and she felt that everybody actually physically needed to be there, then that's what she believed needed to happen, and I totally applaud that decision. I don't think that necessarily says you can't have a good work-life balance. I know on my team, if somebody needs to be out of the office for something, then you need to be out of the office for something. We all work so much that we need to be, open and honest, and fully transparent about where we need to be, when we need to be there, as long as the job is getting done. I think there's a difference between that and having to work from home all the time. So, I don't think she would have gotten the same treatment had she been a guy. I don't, but I think she's doing what she needs to do to get that business running, and that's the job she's been given.
Well, that was going to be my next question, which is, if it had been a man sending that email, would it have made such a big impact?
No, I don't think it would have been scrutinized in the same way.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
Yeah.
So my last question for you,
Yep.
which I have asked all my guests, but now there's no pressure here, but just know this is the last question of the whole.
No
So
pressure.
really have something good to say. I just want to ask you, for all the young women walking around, starting out in their careers, if there's one piece of advice that you could give them, what would it be?
I think the biggest piece of advice is don't lose the vision for who you want to become. It's easy to get sidetracked, and there are going to be moments in time where you can't put your full energy into your career. It is a balance, but keep the big picture in mind and keep taking the steps to get yourself there. When you have young kids, it is harder to be kind of full throttle career as well. There are certainly ways to do it, but even if you pull yourself back a little, don't stop yourself from really moving yourself forward to achieve your vision, and don't stop being who you are, because being who you are is what makes you the best person and the best professional and the best mom and the best everything you can be. So always be true to yourself and lead from that.
That's terrific advice. Really good advice.
As
you
your
did
last
it.
moment.
As my last moment, Allison, as I knew she would, pulled it off. Hit it out of the park, as my dad would say.
Well,
so thank you.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you. I hope you enjoyed these episodes of Perspectives, and you can go to Katie Kempner. KatieKempner-perspectives.com if you want to check out some of my other episodes, including my very first episode with Allison, and there'll be some newer ones up there soon. And thank you. Have a wonderful day.